Welcome to the North Texas Community Difference-Wylie. Brought to you in part by Master Networks Wylie and powered by the Difference Media LLC.
Today's show is hosted by Brian Poduska, entrepreneur and owner of Real Property Management Focus. Co-hosted by Cordell Reynolds with New Res Mortgage and Lynn Heverly, realtor with Coldwell Banker Apex.
The North Texas Community Difference-Wylie was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our co-host and their guests share thoughts and insights about being a professional and the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in a very special way. Because the North Texas Community Difference-Wylie starts now.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Brian Poduska. I'm the host of the North Texas Community Difference-Wylie this week. The Thursdays we host, or I host every Thursday show for the Difference-Wylie show. So excited to be back here. Excited to have I guess round two now of you saw Cordell and Lynn in the intro there. So I'm excited to have them on the show again today and look forward to meeting their guests. If you haven't seen the show before, we have rotating co-hosts. So again, Cordell and Lynn are our co-hosts today, and we bring on business leaders, entrepreneurs, community leaders specific to Wylie, and allow them to introduce themselves and talk about their businesses and their opportunities as well. So that is kind of the format of the show. Now, I think we're on month 3, if I'm not mistaken, Lendon. If we're not fully into month 3, we're approaching it. Yeah. So what we do is we have a rotating business topic that we talk about every month. So it being July, and the first week of July, our topic this month is developing a personal brand and building a strong reputation within the community. So one thing I've noticed with this group is it's a really tight-knit group, and there's a lot of community involvement. We'll hear today, we were talking backstage before the show started, talking about some of the chamber leadership within Wylie, and we're going to meet some members here today who are part of that chamber and who are in the leadership group. So should be a very interesting topic to dive into with the folks on the show today. Without further ado, why don't we bring in Cordell and Lynn. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Brian? Lynn, how you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
I'm doing super. It's we were talking earlier about how it's kind of a weird week with the holiday, a 4th of July holiday falling on a Tuesday. So
absolutely,
here we are, already on Thursday, and it feels like it's Monday or Tuesday.
It's definitely
on the struggle bus right now.
I think we all are. I was on a call yesterday, and we were all kind of joking around about like, oh man, this is like a Monday, and it was really a Wednesday. So yeah. I guess on the bright side, we have a short week, right?
That's the truth. That is the truth for sure.
There we go. Well, glad to be here again with you guys. Kind of coming into round 2 with you guys, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think it's round 3 for us.
Round 3.
Is it round 3
sure.
already? Okay, so
yeah.
I was right. So we're in month 3, round 3. So how are you guys liking it so far? You having fun with it?
Definitely interesting. Like, this is not something it's out of my comfort zone. Still out of my comfort zone.
Well, we can't tell.
Oh, thanks.
No, good. Well, like I said, I'm glad to be with you guys again, and I think this will be a great topic for your guests, who we'll bring on a little bit later. Why don't we just go around the horn? Lynn, we'll start with you, and just really quickly tell everybody what you do, what your business is, and we'll do the same with Cordell, and then we'll get into a quick commercial break, and on the backside, we've got a segment, and then we'll bring on your guests. So Lynn, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Apex. Our corporate office is in Richardson's, which I office out of, and I've been doing real estate going on 11 years this year, and I would love to stay in the community and help all our community members with their real estate dreams and goals. So give me a call.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it. And Cordell, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Cordell Reynolds with formerly New Res, but now Platinum Eagle Mortgage. So it's the same company. We just have a new brand here in the Dallas market. So there's no difference from that perspective. Been in the financial sector for, 10, 15 years now. And it's been one heck of a roller coaster. But my primary duty or primary job is to be able to help families build wealth through real estate, where Lynn helps you find the real estate. I help you put together strategies to be able to capitalize on the actual assets from a wealth perspective, utilizing different mortgage strategies. So looking forward to speaking with anyone on the call that are watching the video that may have any questions about how we can help them do that.
Awesome. Thank you. And so this is a good, again, kind of hammering on the topic, right, of personal branding and relationship building. Your two professions are based 100% or solely on that. So I look forward to diving into that topic today because, we're, I guess, all in the same industry, whether it's property management, a straight agent, or, a loan officer. So look forward to diving into that. So real quick, what I'd like to do is we'll take a quick break here, but on the backside of that break, we've got a segment called What's Up, Wylie, which will allow you guys to, come through and talk about what's going on in Wylie. So we'll do that on the back end of the segment, and then we'll also bring in your guys' guests. But for right now, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. Thanks, Lendon.
The North Texas Community Difference-Wylie is made possible in part by Peyton and JP Direct Health, providing affordable health insurance solutions as a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Lendon Wilson and Community Wealth Advisors, Life Well Planned. Angela Tucker with Coldwell Banker Apex. Here to help you discover your real estate dreams and build wealth through all stages of life. Cordell Reynolds with Platinum Eagle Mortgage. Your mortgage journey starts here. Marley Knapp with Norwex, chemical-free, sustainable solutions for your home, and by Terra Padilla with Texan Window Cleaning. Don't let dirty windows be your pane in the glass.
The North Texas Community Difference-Wylie. Together, we can make the difference. And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks to our sponsors. Saw a few familiar faces in that little string there. But so now is the time of the show where we talk about what's going on in Wylie. Lendon, I don't know if you have that sounder.
Wylie?
There it is. That's awesome. Love it. So again, let's let ladies go first. Lynn, why don't you tell us what's up, Wylie?
Well, I've got a few things. There is a soccer tournament that is actually going on at the Wylie High School. It's, hold on. It's the Ethiopian national group that's here. They're having the tournament all the way up until Saturday. The library is doing something. The library's got an improv, class for adults. And then the Wylie High School is also still doing their Camps for Champs, which is for, where if you want to make, keep your kids active in the summer camps and things like that. And then I just also wanted to touch on Leadership Wylie. It's a chamber-ran group that two of our guests are on today, are former graduates. One's going to be liaison for next year. The application deadline is July 31st. And with the leadership program, it takes you through the inner workings of the city. It is definitely something you want to be a part of, especially if you want to get involved with the community, just to see how your community works.
Fantastic. All right, Cordell, what you got? What's up, Wylie?
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk about something that I found pretty interesting. There's the Wylie Love Scavenger Hunt coming up this weekend on July 8th. So it's going to be a digital scavenger hunt that you can do throughout the city, starting at about 10 a.m. You can start on Saturday and kind of make it a date night. So you can do different things throughout the city of Wylie, check in throughout the process, and be able to have a fun way to go out and have a good time and kind of explore the city of Wylie.
That's cool. I think there is a Frisco version of that too that I've done in the past, and it's really fun. So I'm guessing it's modeled very similarly. So
It's the same company actually. They rotate different cities throughout the DFW.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys sharing what's going on in Wylie. And like you said, Lynn, we'll dive a little bit more into Leadership Frisco. You know very well what that group is all about. So thanks for sharing that. Now, why don't we bring on your guest? So let's go ahead and we'll start again. We'll go ladies first. Lynn, why don't you introduce your guest today?
So she is she's a graduate of the last class. She works for the Children's Advocacy Center, and we did get to visit the Advocacy Center, and she does amazing work. So I'd like to introduce Erica Stanley.
Hi, Erica.
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
I am doing well. How about you?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell us about yourself? What dive a little bit deeper into exactly what it is you guys do.
Sure. So I am the Director of Family Advocacy and Support Services at Children's Advocacy Center of Collin County. We are an organization whose mission is to provide safety, healing, and justice to children victimized by child abuse in Collin County. We serve 100% of child abuse victims in Collin County, and all of our services are free to victims and their non-offending family members. And so we co-house with a lot of other agencies. We have Child Protective Services that works in this building, and then we have several different law enforcement jurisdictions that co-house with us, including Wylie PD. We have 2 detectives and a sergeant from Wylie PD that house here. I'm also a resident of Wylie. I've lived in Wylie since 2001. Have 2 kids in Wylie ISD and really love the Wylie community.
Now, where'd you come from originally that brought you to Wylie?
I'm originally from Louisiana. And, there are not a lot of job opportunities there. I got out of college and I was dating someone that had moved to Dallas. And so I was like, well, the job opportunities are better there. Fortunately, the relationship worked out for me. We've been married for 21 years now. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Cordell, why don't you introduce your guest?
Absolutely. So Stephen, I met Stephen. It seems like it's been about 2 years ago in the midst of COVID and everything else that was going on. We not even quite sure exactly how we met, but he started up a little men's group that allowed men to kind of go out and interact and grow together during that time. And we got a chance to play some tennis together and kind of built a little bit of a relationship based off of that and our love for the Razorbacks. And he's recently launched out and started his own accounting firm and looking to grow that here in the city of Wylie while he's growing his family.
All right. There's Stephen.
Howdy.
How goes it, Stephen?
It goes well. Yes, that was a very hot day of tennis where neither of us were very good. It was a battle of attrition for both of us. We definitely aren't winning any major tennis tournaments anytime soon.
Well, you're amongst friends if you're a Razorback fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Lendon can chime in if he wants there, but
pig.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you guys probably touched on that before I joined the
we did.
backstage. Okay, cool. No, it's so great. So, Stephen, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your new business is and how that's going and what you guys specialize in.
For sure. So yeah, as Cordell said, I'm an accounting firm. We specialize in accounting services and bookkeeping, so more on the compliance business side than the tax side. One of the things that I decided go early on was I can either be good at the accounting principles and running accounting for businesses, or I can be good at tax, but it's probably really hard to do both. So I like to partner with my tax people. I got several people to help me on the tax side, and I can refer people out, which is a great relationship to have. Mostly do nonprofits and real estate, but also have other various clients. But the main ones would be real estate, which is investors, agents. I've got some land investors, and then nonprofits. Because nonprofits are in that weird scenario where they need a lot of expertise because there's a lot of rules around being a nonprofit and a lot of compliance that needs to be done. But they don't have the funds to hire someone full time. So they can hire someone like me to help them with their accounting and make sure they're compliant, but also not having to hire someone at full time. And just a shout out to Erica and the Children's Advocacy Center.
Mhm.
Anytime we went to anything with law enforcement, there were hugs given because Erica's known very well, and just the respect that she had. And I know we're talking personal brands later, but the respect she had amongst pretty much everybody we ran across was good. And also the tour. I wish it wasn't needed, but I'm glad y'all are there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely could not do her job. That's just has to be tough.
I think there are tough days. I think for the people that work here, and I know specifically for me, knowing that it's a place of hope and that when families are here, that means that the kids are getting better, that the abuse is stopping, that we're going to provide free counseling and social work services, and we're going to help families get back on their feet. And help kids stay safe. I think that is kind of what counters the negative things that we hear and see.
But the numbers were just so crazy when you said, like, it just in Collin County. And it's just amazing how high those numbers were.
Yeah, it's I can remember when I moved to Collin County, being from rural Louisiana, like Collin County was like shiny, new, beautiful place. Like there aren't a lot of cities or county parishes in Louisiana that are like Collin County. And so when I moved here, I was like, I bet nothing bad happens here. And then I ended up through an internship working at the Advocacy Center. And it was startling to see, and I mean, really just proves what the statistics say, right?
Mm-hmm.
That child abuse happens everywhere, that it's not just one community or a certain demographic. It's all demographics and socioeconomic backgrounds. So that was eye-opening for me when I moved here, for sure.
No, that's great. So I did have a question for you, Erica. How do you, or what drew you to get into that sort of service? Because that is, I mean, it's a great point that there's numbers are staggering. It's a very sad situation. I love the perspective of on the back end, you're providing hope and things like that. But what drove you to get into that role?
So when I was a kid, my mom worked in a psychiatric hospital. She worked like in the accounting department, and her close friend was a social worker. And I remember asking my mom, like, what does she do all day? And my mom's like, oh, she's a social worker. She helps people. And that's always been a core value for me. And so I was like, there's a job that you can like help people all day. Like that's the job. And my mom's like, yeah, that's what social workers do. And I was probably 7 or 8 at the time and just really made up my mind that was the career field that I wanted to go in. So went to school for social work and really planned to work in mental health, in adult mental health. And then when I was doing an internship for my master's program, I was placed here and I really did not want to work with abused kids. I told myself, like, I can do anything for 9 months. I'll just go and, fulfill the requirement, and then I can go back to adult mental health. And what I found when I got here was it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be to work with child abuse victims. And I loved the work. I loved being able to help stop that cycle for the kids in our community. And this, the Advocacy Center is just a wonderful place to work. Like it's, I love being here. It's a very healthy environment. And we're all very mission driven. And so it was just a mission that I really got behind. And so when I finished my master's degree, they had an opening. And at the time we had a really small staff of like 15 or 20 people. And I got really lucky and got a job here as a child forensic interviewer, and then have just kind of had different roles throughout the years here. So,
And then you had your grand opening.
yes, so we opened a new facility in McKinney back in September. We, a lot of the growth that's happening in Collin County is happening north, and our current location is in Far East Plano. We're almost to Murphy. And so we are a great location if you live in Plano or Allen or Wylie, but if you live in Prosper, we are not a great location. And it was taking kids, sometimes 45 minutes to an hour to get here for weekly therapy appointments. And we want to be accessible for those kids. We don't want parents to say, oh, it's just too far, so I'm not going to get therapy for my kiddo. And so we started planning probably about 10 years ago to build that facility in McKinney, and we finished it this last year. And it's interesting because we really expected to be serving about 50% of our clients here and 50 in McKinney, but our statistics are showing that we're really serving about 60% in McKinney and 40% here. So that's been an interesting trend that we really weren't expecting so early on.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, and so where in McKinney is the new building?
So it's in a real sweet spot. It's kind of at 380 and 75. It's on Heritage Drive. We had a donor that had a piece of land there that they were wanting to sell, and they were very kind to us, and we got a really good deal on it. And so we're in a really good location in terms of, accessible to 380 and to 75.
That's great. And then one other question I had for you on the organization, you mentioned that when you started, there was roughly 20-ish people there. How big is the organization now?
So there's about 65 employees now, and I've been here for about 18 years as an employee. So we've grown exponentially, and a lot of our growth is on the program side of things. So we've hired a lot of family advocates, child engagement advocates, and therapists. So it's mostly people that are working directly with the kids. So it's just been incredible.
That's fantastic. And how is that split between the two locations? Is it 50-50?
It's not 50-50 because our administrative staff are still in Plano. So our accounting department, development team stay in Plano, although the development team does work in McKinney a good bit. And then for our programs, we did split our program staff kind of down the middle. So one of my teams, we have 6 family advocates and a supervisor on that team, and the supervisor and 3 of her staff are in McKinney, and then 3 staff stayed here. So we tried to split all of our programs evenly.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing about the Advocacy Center, because that's obviously a huge benefit to the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen, real quick, back to your business. I know you mentioned you're relatively recently launched. How recent is that?
Well, so my business story kind of goes back 3 or 4 years. I had my own accounting on the side for a while, where I was helping one real estate investor who posted an ad on Craigslist of all places, and I happened to be surfing Craigslist that night and responded and said, "Hey, I can help you out," and still working with him today, and actually went to dinner with him 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so I kind of did that, and then I just hit a point at one point where I was like, I could probably do this for other people too. So I was in public accounting as an auditor for 6 years, and then I was controller for 3 years at United Way, Dallas. So I decided, eventually that, let's give this a go. Let's try and see if other people want accounting services. And so I built it up on the side, tendered my resignation from United Way in November of 21. But I was pretty much full time through September of 22, working a 32 hours a week and got 1 day a week for my business, and they knew everything and whatnot. So, but it was a good transition from me to the next controller. So technically it depends on what date you want to go from. I've been full time in my business since last September, but really the business goes back further than that.
Got it. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that we know all of what we do, what we typically do at this point of the show is we'll have another commercial break. And then on the backside, we will dive into the topic of the month, which is developing a personal brand and how you go about doing that. So with that, let's go ahead and take that commercial break, and we'll dive in on the back end.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
JP Direct Health offers affordable health insurance solutions for individuals, families, and small businesses specializing in custom coverages to fit your needs and budget. JP Direct Health offers comprehensive benefits, including PPO health plans, accident and critical illness coverage, dental and vision, health matching accounts, along with telehealth at no cost per call. Call JP Direct Health today to learn more about how we can help you protect your health and your budget.
Do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then call Elite Diamond Cleaning today. From basic cleaning to deep cleaning, and using only the highest quality cleaning products and equipment, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our team of experienced cleaners will work quickly and efficiently to clean every nook and cranny, taking care of all the details so you don't have to. With a variety of pricing options to fit any budget, you can be sure that you are getting the best possible price. Call Elite Diamond Cleaning today at 214-300-9876 to schedule a free estimate. Your home and office is a diamond. Let us get it out of the dust.
Are you looking for new or more reliable and affordable home services? Look no further than Utility Connect. At Utility Connect, we understand that every customer is different. Thanks to our partnership with The Difference, our free concierge service seamlessly shops all of your utilities and services for your home or business with one easy phone call. So what are you waiting for? Call Utility Connect today and experience the difference. For more information, give us a call at 469-414-2033 or visit us at www.utilityconnect.net/thedifference to learn more.
Are you a business owner looking to grow your company? Get fast, easy financing up to $5 million with no minimum FICO score required. Apply in 60 seconds and get funded in 24 hours. Call Jim Thomas at 214-629-7223 to talk to a financing professional today. Your business's future is waiting. So don't delay. Call now and tell him that you saw him on The Difference.
And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So personal branding is the topic of the month. And Stephen, I think you kind of led into it a little bit earlier with, Erica and the, the reputation that she has personally in the community and certainly with the Advocacy Center. So let's start. Like I said, we always do ladies first. And Erica, since Stephen already has sung your praises a little bit, can you just give a little bit of background as to what you've personally done to build your brand, and how that community involvement really how you're doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think the very first step in personal branding is really looking at what are my values? What do I value? How do I live out those values? And that really helps kind of guide you on your yeses and nos, right? Like, is this in line with my values or is it not? And then being consistent over time and being trustworthy and having integrity. So I am a pretty relational person. I'm pretty outgoing. I love people. And so, I've been really fortunate just to meet a lot of people in Wylie through my work and through like our relationships at church and through our peers, just, people that I've met on the soccer field or on the basketball court, watching my kids play basketball. So, I try to maintain those relationships and, people do reach out to me often if they see something that's child abuse related, or if they see something that they're just not sure about. And so a lot of people kind of use me as a resource for that. Like, hey, I saw this thing happen at the grocery store. Is that something I need to report? Or, hey, I'm really concerned about the kids that live next door. Can you give me some, guidance on that? And I'm happy to be that for our community, because I think, people, just regular, citizens, neighbors, they don't want to report their neighbors or their students or their patients. They don't want to report them to CPS if there's not a reason to. And so when people come to me with those questions, I enjoy talking it out and, really helping them decide, what steps they need to take, if any. And so I think, that's one of the reasons why, I'm pretty well connected in Wylie and know a lot of people, because I think I've just kind of become a resource when people don't know what to do. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, couple different key takeaways, right? Values, consistency, and then another way that I heard there last is really being a subject matter expert. Whether it's, unfortunately, it's an unfortunate topic that you're a subject matter expert on, I suppose, but so that I think those are great points. Anybody else have any other thoughts on?
I wanted to point out there was one thing that Erica mentioned very early on, and that was the knowing exactly what to say yes and no to. I think a lot of times, particularly when you're first starting to build your brand and your reputation in the community, you get into the position where you feel like you need to say yes to everything. You need to be everywhere to everybody. And I think the earlier you can develop that value system of who you are and what you stand for, and what really is important to you, I think that's going to go a long way in really carving out that niche sector for you and allowing you to be able to build that personal brand.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because in my 20s, I was a yes person. If you asked me to do something, I would do it. And then I started having kids in my late 20s and early 30s. And if you guys, have children, your time is much more precious than it was before you had children. And so it became very clear to me that, I did not have a yes for everyone, but I had a yes for the things that were in line with my values, and that I could set boundaries and limits on things that really were not my thing. So that was super helpful for me in my, lower 30s to figure that out. Like, okay, I really value time with my family. I really value children's safety. And then being able to kind of tailor the decisions I make around what those values are.
Love it. Okay, so Lynn, I wanted to ask you specifically, because realtors, we're a dime a dozen, right? So and I guess that's pretty applicable to lenders as well. So Cordell, would love to hear your opinion as well. But what have you done, and how have you go ahead and built that personal brand in a very competitive industry of real estate?
Well, I mean, just like any realtor, they're not everybody's cup of tea. So you just have to do what, like Erica said, stick with your values. Do what makes you feel good and be out there. I do a lot of stuff in the community because I want to be in my community. I want people to see me doing things for the community, not, hey, do you want to buy a house? Hey, do you want to sell your house? Instead, we've got a social committee. We go out there. We do just recently, I couldn't make it, which again, we've got kids now. They're in sports, like both of them. I've got taekwondo, I've got soccer, I've got basketball. So my weekends are pretty much taken up. So I do what I can. And then again, consistency, values, if you keep on doing it, even if you're not there, or even if you didn't sponsor a particular thing, because you did that multiple years in a row, they assume that's who provided, for instance, a Kona truck. We do that for the July 4th parade for our neighborhood. One year I couldn't sponsor it because I couldn't be there. And it just so happened they thought, hey, well, no, it was Lynn that sponsored the Kona truck. So building that brand is just being in front of people, being you, because that's, again, real estate is a relational business. They have to like you. And then if they see that you're doing well for other people, they trust you. And so that's pretty much how I go about it. And if I don't get the business, then it wasn't meant for me.
Yeah, and I think that point is, it has to be a fit both ways, which, Erica, I think it goes back to your point, or Cordell, I think you guys both kind of hit on it, is don't say yes to everything, right? Because if it's not, you may not be a fit for somebody else, but it has to be a two-way street in order for that personal brand to really resonate with someone. So, no, I think that's a great point, Lynn. Question for the group here. What's the significance of building your personal brand versus your, call it a commercial brand, and how tied together can or should they be?
I'll chime in on this one. I think personal brands travel. So depending on what company you're working for, it could be, it could be Platinum Eagle Mortgage, or that name just changed. But Cordell hasn't changed. I still know who Cordell is.
Yeah.
So having that personal brand built up of who I am as a person, regardless of who I'm working for at the time, is a lot more important, I feel like, at least in the entrepreneur space. Now, that doesn't mean to completely ignore the corporate side of things either, because there's a lot of benefits to the various places that you work, and different places have their different strengths and may have a different message, but at the end of the day, you are who you are. So building up who you are, especially like within the community you live in, I think is super important, just because like you're going to be, you're there. So it's where you live. So whether you work for that company or not, you're still probably going to live there. So personal brand, I think, especially locally, is very important.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, my husband recently asked me, he's like, how much do you think that Coldwell Banker Apex brand makes you? I'm like, well, I don't know. I think I've been in the business long enough that they're not calling me for Coldwell Banker. They're calling me for Lynn. And, because you see realtors change brokerage all the time. But if they're successful, they're going to continue being successful because they were already successful. And it wasn't the brand. The brand helps because there are people that shop for brand. They're like, oh, this is a major name brand realty company. We need to go with them because they've got everything, and this no-name realtor may not, or boutique, they call it, brokerage, may not have the same thing, but they actually probably do if they work hard enough, and know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, given how many times you see people switch brokerages, or Stephen, to your point, the portability, whether you're switching companies or even outside of work, right? So you carry it with you no matter where you go and what place of employment you're in. So I think those are super key points. Okay, another question for the group. What are some of the best ways to use social media to build your personal brand?
Cordell, do you want to take it?
I'll jump in on this one. I think social media to build a personal brand has to be just that, personal. I see a lot of people, particularly in my position, right? And every social media post feels like just a push for their product or their service. And you never get to know them as a person. And to be quite frank, most of my business or my relationships for business come from social media. And it's because I'm just being myself. It's a bunch of posts about me and my family, us on vacation, us doing life, and genuinely being a good person. And that attracts the type of people that I want to attract. And ultimately, it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to do my job. I always say, I feel like every single client becomes a family member, an extension of my family. And that's the reason why, is because they come in with those same values.
And a lot of time they hire you because you're a family person. They're like, well, he understands family. And I'm a family and I need someone that understands my needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so you sprinkle business into it so it doesn't look like that's all you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, Lynn. The mixture of business versus personal, right? So that goes to my question, I guess, of how separated should they be, or versus how separated are they, right? Do you guys have a rule of thumb that you do 80% personal, 10%, 20% commercial?
That's probably about what I do. Like I probably do 80% personal, maybe even a little more than that. But you know, a lot of times my friends and family are asking me like, oh, it's Christmas. Is the Advocacy Center doing something we want to give for Christmas? Or do y'all do something at back to school? Or I saw y'all had a big fundraising event. And so I do post those types of things because a lot of my friends care about what I'm doing and support the organization that I work for. And, you know, they want to know what we're doing. And so I do post some of that. And it's a great way for people that care about me personally to get involved with what I'm doing, you know, at work.
Yeah, no, that's great. Lendon, I think you wanted to chime in on this topic. What
I did, because I love what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was going through a seminar the other day about branding, and they were talking about how in today's world, most everybody shops and vets online, right? They kind of see products and services and terms and rates. And Cordell, when you were saying what you were saying, I was kind of giggling because that's what you see with so many people is rate and term, rate and term, rate and term, rate and term. And I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but there's not a big difference out there. But what is so great, and I'm going to use the real estate industry, and definitely with Erica's as well. It is a comfort zone industry, right? One of our biggest jobs is making our customers feel comfortable with what's going on in the process, because it's stressful buying a house. It's stressful getting a mortgage. It's stressful getting from the start to the finish line. And I think that so many people, when they get to know you online and they get to see who you are, and like Lynn said, that's a family person. There's a lot of love in their heart. There's a lot of compassion in who they are and what they do. That's an immediate establishment of a comfort level with people that haven't got to know you yet. And so social media allows you, and that's kind of why we do these shows. Social media allows you one of the best tools in the world to establish the know, like, and trust factor before you ever get to meet them.
I'd like to chime in here because I'm a little counterculture in this topic, because I don't use social media almost at all at this point. So part of that was, we talked about values earlier, and I found myself when I was trying to do the men's group that Cordell mentioned, that the only reason I was getting on social media was to try and do that, and it burned me out. And I found myself drifting into the abyss of doom scrolling. So I just kind of had I evaluated what are my values and what are the things that are important to me. And at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't social media, and it was actual connections with people in person. Now, to build that up, sometimes you do have to use social media, but at this point, I don't use it much at all, if at all. I am in some Facebook groups, so I have like my local triathlon club. I gotta sign on to Facebook to see what's going on, but I don't post anything. And that was a conscious decision on my part of, could I be generating more business by being on social media? Probably. But it just wasn't within my values of what I wanted to do. And I was much rather spend that time in person with people over and building relationships than on social media. So just wanted to throw that out there, that especially when you're getting started, there's a lot of pressure that we have to do social media. If you don't do social media, you're wrong. And I think there's alternative ways. Because prior to 2007, it didn't exist, and people met at the local cafe to network and to talk to people. So just because social media is an awesome tool, but it's just that it's a tool in the tool belt. It's not necessarily the end all be all.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that too. When I first started real estate, my manager asked me if I had a Facebook page. I'm like, yeah. Well, do you do anything with it? No, I just look at other people's lives, maybe. But she's like, you got to get on there. And I have to agree. I mean, to a certain extent, you do get lost and you go down that tunnel, and there's a lot of wasted time. But I do believe that with the social media, I have been able to connect with people who aren't in my circle anymore, and have been able to get business out of that. And it does give you a bigger reach if that's what you're looking for.
No, that's a great point. And so, Stephen, you are a bit of a rebel in today's society, right? With not actively participating from a business perspective in social media. But so to that point, what are some of the other pillars, I guess, of your brand building, your personal brand building, if not social media? What else do you guys use to do that, in your own circles?
I mean, I think there's a Woody Allen quote that says 80% of success is showing up. And I think showing up in this context doesn't always mean physically showing up, but, going to your word is huge. If you volunteer for something, showing up for that volunteer event. If you pledge money to give the money, it doesn't always have to be physically showing up to a space. It can be, supporting in other ways. But I think especially when we're talking community, getting out into the community, whether it's with your family or, just as yourself in a business capacity, I think that is huge. Because you never know, you never know who's looking for accounting or a lender or a realtor or,
Well, you met my neighbor.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I met your neighbor because I was active through the chamber, and somebody at the chamber knew that your neighbor was going through a rough time and needed help with her accounting business. So I was able to, it was the beginning of my business, and I was able to go and help her through a hard time. But that just came from showing up to things and saying, I'm an accountant, like no social media was needed to do that. I think that's another tool in the toolbox is showing up in your community, becoming known in your community by being at things and being active in the different groups that are available.
Love it. All right. So what I want to do right now is take a really quick pause because we do have one more break to get through. And on the backside of that, I'd like to go around the horn and just have one more, I guess, Stephen, I like your analogy of a tool in the tool belt. What else you guys do from a personal branding standpoint? But we'll do that on the backside. Go ahead and hit the commercial, Lendon.
The North Texas Community Difference-Wylie is made possible in part by Jenny Connolly with TC Roofing and Restoration. Trust TC to keep you leak-free. Jessica Cooper with Diesel Signs and Displays. The Power of Advertising. Lynn Heverly with Coldwell Banker Apex, guiding you home with heart and expertise. Caitlin Fiesel with Elite Diamond Cleaning. Your home and office is a diamond. Let's get it out of the dust. Dallas Jones with Rementis, bringing your memories and technology back to life. Melissa Mancini, owner of Melissa Mancini Photography. Don't let your babies grow up to be JPEGs. And by Marissa Page with Page Restoration. When the worst happens, let our family take care of yours. The North Texas Community Difference-Wylie. Together, we can make the difference.
And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So, we've gotten social media, we've gotten showing up, right, as ways to build that personal brand. Does anybody else want to share, methods or things that they do to build their personal brand?
One of the things that I found that really helped in the past, and I was actually looking at it over the weekend, something that I should definitely get back to, is education. And so when I say that, it's just a matter of intentionally going out and educating the community on different topics that really relate to my business. So whether that's focused on first-time home buyers and kind of talking about the process of what it takes to become a home buyer, or for people that want to get into investing, working with someone like Steven and putting together a committee that talks about how you can get into real estate investing and what that looks like from a tax perspective or from a financing perspective. When I did that really helped grow from a personal standpoint, my personal confidence, because I had to really study and be on top of all of those topics before going out and having a conversation about it. But also the amount of people that would call me that never even showed up at the events, but just wanted to call me because they knew somebody else that was there, and felt like I was a subject matter expert, as we talked about earlier.
That's a great point, Cordell. And also, you're surrounding yourself, if you have a panel of some, that you kind of mentioned, you're surrounding yourself with folks that also help you build your personal brand. You help build their personal brand alongside. So that's a great example. I love that. Anybody else have another example of a tool in the tool belt?
Yeah, I think one thing to not overlook is one is obviously giving great service, but two, loving on your clients and making sure that they're having a great experience with you, and then also occasionally asking them, hey, do you know anybody who needs this service? We I think there's a lot of focus on sowing seeds, but sometimes you got to farm the seeds too, and cultivate things are already within your own circle.
And plus, they don't think that way if you don't ask for the business.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that multiple times. I'm one of the worst of asking for referrals. I feel like I have to do my job first before I ask for the referral, instead of just doing it during the transaction. Like, hey, if you're giving a good service at that time, like, hey, do you know anybody that can utilize the service at this time, while you're doing it, versus at the end, they've already done what they needed to do and now they're busy and, you're no longer top of mind.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And it's, I think anybody who's just starting a business oftentimes struggles with that. Okay, when is the right time to ask for a referral?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, all you have to do is just do it, right? It's one of those things that you just kind of have to catch up to. So, Erica, it sounds like you may be having some technical difficulties. I do see you're on mute.
I think she's stuck.
Can you hear us, Erica? No. She looks frozen. Okay. So anyway, we've only got a few more minutes left, and hopefully Erica can get her technical issues worked through here. But what we do at the end of the show is we go around the horn and just make sure that everybody has the opportunity to just kind of remind everybody what they do and how to get a hold of your business or yourself. So why don't we do that? Normally we would have started with Erica, but until she is able to get online here, let's go ahead and let Steven remind us, what you do, Steven, and how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. So Steven Peyton, once again, accounting services mostly for nonprofits in the real estate sector. I also do other business owners, but the nonprofits in real estate are really where most of my work is from. And how to get a hold of me, as I said, I'm not really on social media, so it's probably pretty hard to get a hold of me there. So contact at MMosis.com. And real quick on what is MMosis, that's shortened. It started out as money morphosis, so metamorphosis except for money. So I liked the imagery of a butterfly, of a caterpillar going to a butterfly, and me helping people along that journey. And also the other part of that is that my son at 6 days old had open heart surgery, and so we spent his first 2 weeks of his life in the hospital. And one of the books I read a lot was The Very Hungry Caterpillar. So the caterpillar to the butterfly meant a lot to me, and bunny morphosis was a mouthful, so I shortened it to MMosis. So that's where MMosis comes from.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you answered that question because I meant to ask you that earlier. What that stood for, and that's man, that's a great personal brand right there.
Yeah, to talk about personal brand, a lot of CPAs are just Peyton CPA, and I wanted something that meant more to me than just being last name CPAs. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lynn, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was hoping Erica would come back out, but just texted her, log back in. I'm Lynn Heverly. I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker Apex. I'm going on 11 years with the company. I love my job. I love helping people, and I've been in the Wylie community since 2008 when the bubble burst. But if you know anyone, I would love to have my business stay in Wylie. The commute would be less, but I know the community. And so if you want to learn the community or just want to stay in the community, just give me a call. My contact is below.
Asking for referrals. Well done.
There you go.
There you go. Boom. Nailing it. All right, Cordell, you're up.
Hey, my name's Cordell Reynolds, as we said before. All of the contact information is scrolling down below, but you can always find me on social media. I'm the anti-Steven. I'm on social media pretty much throughout the day, kind of checking in and responding throughout the day. So you can find me on there, mostly on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things. Just my first and last name, Cordell Reynolds. Make it really simple. No nicknames or anything like that. Right now, I do want to put out a little filler because right now I think there's a great opportunity for anybody that's looking to get into real estate from a short-term or long-term perspective that wants to take advantage of old, worn-down properties. I think that's kind of like the sweet spot. We're seeing rapid acceleration in prices here in the DFW market as more and more people move here. And in order to kind of combat that or take advantage of that growing accelerated prices, there's a great opportunity to buy older properties, renovate them, live in them for a little while, and then be able to either cash out or keep it as an investment property going forward. So if you want to know more about that, I would love to have a conversation with you on what type of loan products that we have that could help with those types of things. And I had a friend just message me that I should do this, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. If you don't get your loan with Cordell, you're dumb as hell. So
finally,
I like it.
I almost put that in the commercial, and I was like, no. But I was going to make a dummy commercial and send it to everybody. Cordell.
That was a good one, though. That's definitely a good one.
Love it. Well, it doesn't look like we've gotten Erica back yet, but what I did want to do is give you guys an opportunity since, you guys have such a strong group with that Master Networks group in Wylie. You're always looking to add members, I assume. So why don't one of you two, either Cordell or Lynn, talk about the group and if there's any particular roles that you're looking for, and then we'll kind of close out.
I'll let Cordell, but before we log out, I've got Erica. She wants to, have a little plug here. They're preparing for their back to school fair. So if there's anybody that's interested in helping with it, go to their Facebook page. So they're getting prepared for back to school. So it's the Children's Advocacy Center.com, I believe.
Of Collin County.
Of Collin County. Mm-hmm. Thanks,
Perfect.
Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Yes, please go there. If you've got anything that you can help donate or help with, you can get the information on there.
Okay.
CACcollincounty.org.
Beautiful. All right. Did you want to put a plug in for Master Networks?
I will
Wylie
put that
chapter?
plug in for Master Networks Wylie. So please come join us. It is, we always call it the best 1 hour of your week, Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. We start on time, we end on time. It's a great opportunity to come in and learn more about what we do as a group, but for you to be able to learn more about yourself and your business. We always have great training. We have the best training team in all of Master Network, specifically at this Wylie location. You will not get what you get at any other location here at Wylie. And it's a great opportunity for you to put yourself in a position to meet other like-minded people and grow as an individual as well. So we always have a place for anybody. And if your seat is filled, we'll be able to find a way to be able to make you fit in. So please join us next Thursday, 9 a.m. At Community Wealth Advisors in downtown Wylie.
And we're changing location?
We will be changing location soon, so more information to come on that.
Okay.
We'll just be moving down the street a little bit over
Okay.
at Herman Marshall. So
Growing pains, right? Growing pains.
exactly.
All right. Well, that should wrap up our show for today. Thank you for our guests. Erica, unfortunately, couldn't rejoin, but Stephen, thank you for being on today. Lynn and Cordell, as usual, great time seeing you guys and great co-hosting with you. Great information that you guys all shared today on the topic of brand building, personal brand building, and we will continue to dive into that topic throughout the month of July. Again, I hope everybody in this weird short week, I hope everybody has an awesome weekend, and we will see everybody next week. Take care.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for watching today's show. If you like today's show, please share, like, and subscribe, and make sure to shop, buy, and hire in Wylie. Special thanks to all the guests, co-hosts, and sponsors of the North Texas Community Difference-Wylie.
Thank you for tuning in and watching our show. If you would like to see our next show, or more shows like this one, just click the QR code and go to show schedules, or just follow and subscribe to our channels to get updates and notifications of this show, and many others like it.